Brandenberg's second half versus Richmond shows him in the last 10 minutes, playing the point guard position for the VCU Rams.
Now VCU in return games, when they've seen a team a second time this season, 3-0. And over the course of Shaka Smart's career, have been great. It's interesting that Richmond, though, has been the better team so far.
And they've outscored their opponents. VCU has all season long in the second half. Again, because of their numbers, their depth, and their ability to put pressure on you, it gets them back in the games when they're down.
Well, that's what they want to do. Get it to Reddick in the post, let him turn. That time he goes with the left hand.
And what it does, too, made buckets allows VCU to set up their full court pressure. You see them right now.
And there it is. They finally wreak havoc.
See what they do.
3, no good. The steal from Weber, now the all-time single-season record in Atlantic 10 Conference history. Briante Weber, 109 steals this season.
Unbelievable.
He's got more steals himself than some whole teams have in this country.
He certainly does. Relentless on the defensive end.
Well, that friendly fire got him that time.
That's smart. Reddick won't shoot that. He wants to put on the floor and get closer to the bucket.
Can't finish. VCU really struggled shooting the ball in the first half. 36%. Richmond not that much better, 40%. One thing was kind of interesting. It felt like Richmond had a 10-point lead for most of the half, and then by the end of the half, you looked up, and VCU didn't play well, was right there. VCU comes up with another turnover.
Jared Guest, the junior, starting the second half here. Shaka Smart trying to tweak his lineup a little bit, get a guy who's got some energy to supply in this ballgame.
Shaka Smart tied with Mark Few, the terrific coach at Gonzaga, tied for third for most wins in 5 seasons, and he's still got plenty of games to go. If they go all the way to the finals of the A-10, who knows how far in the NCAA tournament. Putting together a fabulous resume in his first 5 seasons at VCU.
And it's just become expected that they're going to have a good team year in and year out. How about the spin move?
Terry Allen, yeah. Nice.
Taking his time, being very patient, had a lot of room to operate in the lane, took advantage of the space given to him. We're running.
Anthony gets the feet set.
Got a lot of rebounders to corral that rebound on that miss. Anthony perhaps a little too quick on that trigger.
Anthony's got 7 points. 5 of them came at the very beginning of the first half. He's 3 for 8 from the floor.
Hit a 3 and then got the penetration on the dribble drive. And then VCU's done basically a good job of limiting his penetrations and his effect. But he's been diming and moving the ball. So even though he's not scoring, he's been facilitating to the rest of his teammates.
Shot clock winding down. Brandenberg going to work. Soft touch, but it spins off the rim.
And he's able at his height, Brandenberg, to shoot over Kendall Anthony. Brandenberg 6'2".
Richmond resets. Allen, easy too, and Reddick fell asleep there on defense.
Very uncharacteristic of him because we talked about his lateral movement. He does such a good job on the ball. That time, snoozing.
Can't do what they do. It's because they are willing to substitute. They've got a deep bench, and there you see the numbers. 4th most in the NCAA in terms of substitutions per game. But 0 bench points.
It's amazing because, again, you mentioned it. They've been inserting bench players all night long, and yet no matter what combination they try, the bench players unproductive on the offensive end of the floor.
The bench normally gives them 23.8 points per game, 0 so far.
Well, think about it. They scored 22 points in 20 minutes in the first half. That constitutes struggle.
Good look. Brandenberg still can't hit one.
Shooting 31% right now, VCU, and their shooting woes continue. Anthony, wow.
Hello.
Feeling it. Mighty Mike. In transition, you're going to play off. Anderson and his previous success here, Coach Mooney mentioned him, who was also diminutive in size. He had a great career here, so why not use it on number 0, Anthony? They took a chance, and it's been paying off. He's their floor leader now. Where would they be without him, with Lindsay out with his injuries?
Spiders create another turnover. That's now 10 turnovers for VCU. Allen's been playing with a lot of confidence. He gets the 2. He had to work hard for it.
Took his time, and I like the patience, and he's almost daring the defense to come. Made the quick move when he decided at the right time. He's so eligible, and more importantly, he's winning people over day by day because they win.
And we're so fortunate to get inside access when we go to practice for shoot-arounds. I haven't seen any team have more fun at a shoot-around this year, or that matter, any year, than VCU had today.
And they do everything as a unit as well. Everything is a group dynamic, and he's at the center of it. He's the one who sets the tone, and all the rest of the kids do a great job of following.
3 no good from Jones. We were talking at the break. Got to figure VCU's got at least one run in it.
Well, every game we've done this year on our network, they have had a run or 2 in games. In particular at home, let's see whether or not they can muster up a run here on the road, where it's, I'm going to say 60-40 in favor of Richmond fans.
Or just the rebound. Then gets up in transition. Brandenberg finally gets a field goal to go.
Let's see whether or not that gets his perimeter jumper going as well. He's in the ball game now, engaged. Stop the ball. You got to stop the ball.
Anthony gives it to Allen for the easy 2.
And the VCU Rams are saying, well, Allah, it's a lot easier said than done. This young man is very quick. And there's VCU in transition. They get the rebound, head up. And Brandenberg does a nice job of not settling, getting it to the rim. And then Richmond with the answer. Anthony in transition finds Allen for the easy 2.
How about Terry Allen? He's got 8 points and 6 rebounds.
Well, he's doing a great job of moving without the basketball and keeping his hands up, ready for those quick passes that come. Dodo feeling it.
Spins out. Another chance for Richmond.
And it's Richmond, the weakest rebounding team in the conference right now, that's doing the job on the boards.
They're out-rebounding VCU 25-19.
And that's it. Doesn't happen. Again, we talked about Richmond and their rows on the glass. But you can throw out all those stats and trends. This is a rivalry game.
Graham hits the 3. Graham has been huge. He's got 13 of their 29 points.
And immediately after they score a bucket, VCU in their diamond full-court pickup. Let's take a look at it again. Brandenberg on a penetration, draws the defense. Nelson Adodo, late to get out on Graham, knocks it down from the baseline. And then immediately, they're in the 1-2, 1-1 diamond full-court press. Leaving Anthony open, not a good idea.
Allen gets pushed in the back.
Brandenberg again, outsized, if you will, giving up a couple of inches to Allen. Instead of blocking him out, grabbed and held.
Just 2 team fouls for VCU. 2 team fouls also for Richmond. The officials have let them play tonight.
They have, not a lot of fouls called.
VCU gets the turnover out on the break. Brandenberg with the finish.
And that just might be what that young man needed. An easy bucket to get him in rhythm. He scored a couple now in the last couple minutes.
Allen hustles, gets the offensive rebound.
A block on Weber. And it hasn't been often, but VCU loves to get out and run, and they've had their limited opportunities. Here's one. Brandenberg with the easy 2.
All of both teams 11 points off turnovers.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic of VCU. Now, you would expect more from them, but again, look at the score. 12:48 left to go in the second half. They're at 31 points. Their offense is really, really troubled. How? They haven't been able to knock down perimeter jump shots on a consistent basis. and they haven't really had that many steals off of their press to get to easy layups.
Now, this is a team dead last in the conference in rebounding, but tonight out-rebounding VCU. VCU, an excellent rebounding team.
Richmond's at a -6 differential in rebounding, so they get out-rebounded by a considerable amount night in and night out, but it's them tonight, the Spiders, that are holding their own on the glass. And it's one of the many reasons why they're up by 6 points right now. No, both teams are really struggling shooting the basketball. Both shooting in the low 30s right now. I should say Richmond at 38, VCU at 33. And again, I think part of it has to do with, from the VCU standpoint, they're not getting out and getting easy buckets. Both teams have 11 points off of turnovers. That's usually VCU's area where they excel. Right now, it's a push.
0 for 2 at the free throw line for the freshman. Lewis could not connect. So still a 6-point lead for the Spiders.
Coach Shaka Smart loves the offensive confidence that Jaquan Lewis plays with, trying to rein him in and have him be a little bit more under control because he hasn't really met a shot he doesn't like, the freshman.
Big time three, and you can hear the Ram fans here at the Robbins Center. Melvin Johnson.
You said it, Ari, a couple minutes ago. VCU, more often than not, is going to give you a run, a spurt. And here it is. Let's see whether or not Richmond can nip it in the bud, or will they let it grow?
Sparrow's in some trouble. Still time on the shot clock, but Anthony's going to hoist off the back iron. Foul on Richmond. VCU making a run. They're now within 3. The pressure mounting on the Spiders. And a real good look. Johnson connects. And this is where the defense, deep into the second half, starting to make its mark on the Spiders. There is Diaz. Without him, they have looked for a leader, and they feel like Weber is developing into that leader, but right now all he can do is cheer his teammates off to the bench.
Adjusting to the point guard position, played a completely different position last year. You mentioned with Darius Diaz there running the helm, but he's done a good job of making pass first. Brandenberg again.
He's now on fire in the second half. Brandenberg's got 9, and this game is tied at 40. Richmond had led the entire game until that made 3.
You see the two-man game with Brandenberg, the little pick and roll, allowing him to get that jumper off. Brandenberg has the hot hand.
Brandenberg, so important that we mentioned in the first half. When he
got him back in the game, sometimes that's all it takes for a shooter, just to see the ball go in the basket, whether it's via layup or a free throw, that gets you back in it.
And Brandenberg's been tied to Shaka Smart a long time. He was the first commitment of the 2010 class, part of the Final Four team in 2011. And here Brandenberg picks up the foul.
Again, one of the reasons why that foul occurred was because Richmond's doing such a good job of moving. Their offense isn't stagnant. When you make the defense move, the defense tends to break down. When it's set, it's really tough to go against the set defense.
3 no good. Lewis up high for the rebound.
They're looking to run now.
Stolen back by Jones. 2-on-1. And Lewis is in there battling, and it's going to be possession VCU.
Young man showing a lot of heart, mixing it up with the big boys in there. He got 2 rebounds in a row. You see the steal that time. Lewis just a little bit out of rhythm, perhaps in a rush. 2-man game, unable to knock it down. And then you see the scramble for the ball. Lewis able to secure it.
I got a feeling that Coach Smart sees that tape. He's going to notice that 2 guys didn't get back down court. It took a while for them to get there.
Well, you know he's focusing on the defensive end. Lewis that time giving it to you on the offensive end.
First lead of the game for the VCU Rams. Comes with a little more than 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the second half.
And this VCU run continues. Richmond unable to put a plug on it.
What will Kendall Anthony do? See if he can lift his team. Extra pass. Allen's three. Nope.
Those offensive rebounds that Richmond were getting earlier are no longer there. Running is VCU.
Senior to senior. Brandenberg to Reddick.
6'9". And let's not overlook how great of an athlete he is. Active hands again. That time Johnson with the deflection.
An 18-3 run right now for VCU.
How has VCU gotten themselves back in it? Long shot. Here comes the rebound. They're off and running. Brandenberg to Reddick with the finish. Big difference between this VCU team in the second half compared to the one in the first half. Easy buckets in transition. A lot more layups subsequently. You've got yourself a 4-point lead and you're back in this game.
And it's real nice.
Think about putting him back in. If you maintain the lead, you keep him on the bench as long as possible. But if they maintain this lead, if things stay the same, I'd probably bring him in around the
Spiders come away with it. Kendall Anthony in conference games, just conference games, averaging 18.5 points per game.
Really has decided to step up his game with the absence of Lindsay. He has become the most vocal guy on the team. He's their leader. A little bit earlier, he was talking to Deion Taylor and Chandre Jones, trying to just get them on the same page. So not only is he leading them in the offensive categories, but he's also a leader in huddles and timeouts, trying to get his teammates all to play together.
18 fouls now for VCU, just 4 for Richmond.
We just showed that graphic, 31 points in his last game against VCU, so he's very confident when he lines up against the men in yellow and black.
Anthony, an 80% free throw shooter. 2 for 2.
Now Richmond in a little bit of a three-quarter court pickup here. No traps, just looking to slow VCU down. Ram initiating the offense.
3 on the way, no. Rebound to Davis. This place is ready to explode. Kendall Anthony, he felt the energy in this place. He wanted this place to just go nuts.
Just couldn't channel it. Do a little preemptive strike there because he knew Mooney was going to be all over him. So he tried to get there first and say, Coach, I understand. It's my mistake. Won't happen again.
Brandenberg's been hot for the second half.
He sure has. Again, I think it started with those layups and the free throws that he made at the beginning of the second half. Sometimes that's all it takes for a shooter to get his confidence and rhythm back.
Allie Cox gets the 2.
And that's a grown man. If you've never seen VCU play and you've never seen Mo Allie Cox, he is 6'7", 250, and that's a grown man with a grown man move right there. A redshirt freshman who spent last year in the weight room, and if you see him up close, you can see why.
Anthony suddenly way off on his last 2 shots. Came up a little gimpy after that shot.
The defense doing a good job of getting hands up as well. Let's not forget he is 5'6", tough to shoot over the taller guys.
Good look. Count it. Melvin Johnson.
Not tough for him to shoot over taller guys. Sparrow a little bit late to get out to Johnson. Knocks it down.
Yeah. Yeah, you can talk to him after the game.
He's getting a lot of airtime right now, and he doesn't know it.
We'll see how the Spiders react. Suddenly down 5 at home.
Last couple times down the floor, if you take a look at the run by VCU, last couple times down the floor, uncharacteristically, Richmond taking quick shots. They've been patient all night. Let's see whether or not they return.
Basket and the foul. Wayne Sparrow.
Certainly patient on that last move, and no help came. Take a look at it again. Sparrow one-on-one. Help not really decisively coming over to stop that penetration. Here comes the spin. And tell me about this reaction. You don't think he wants this game bad? Tell me it doesn't matter when he wakes up tomorrow and has to go to class or go to the grocery store. He doesn't want to hear about VCU having the better of them.
I'll tell you this, Sparrow's numbers don't tell the story of the impact he's had on tonight's game.
Well, he's only averaging 3.2 points per game, but he's absolutely been demolishing havoc thus far tonight because of why? Because he's been aggressive. He hasn't been tentative, and he's been looking north and south, trying to get to the rim.
2-point game, a little less than 5.5 to go.
VCU has spent the majority of the evening because of Richmond's matchup 2-3 operating around the perimeter. We haven't really seen a lot of post-ups or layups by their bigs.
Graham went to work there on his own, able to get the basket.
Almost the steal that time by Brandenberg. Tried to make a nifty play and throw it off of Chandre Jones's leg. Chandre did a good job of avoiding that.
And Anthony not on the floor right now. Sparrow's taken over. Can't get that shot to go.
Graham has been, when we look at Travion Graham, he's been effective in the last 5 minutes or so, being very aggressive. That time, just like down the other end of the floor, no help on Graham. They let him roam and operate, able to back down his defender and get the easy two. Take a look at Kendall Anthony on the sideline, ready to check in.
They were working on his calf. They were rubbing on the back of his calf. And he said, I'm ready to go. 4:35 to go, playing their arch rival. Anthony has really been the go-to guy for this team since Cedric Lindsey's season unfortunately ended prematurely with the torn meniscus in both knees.
I played for coaches that would say, get back in there, you'll heal later. Important game, and you better believe, knowing Kendall Anthony's competitive spirit, he was the first one to beg to come back in the game. Guys don't want to come out unless they absolutely can't get back in.
Anthony matched up against Brandenberg.
Dodo can make those from the corner. We've seen him hit a couple of threes tonight.
And he had the 4-point play. He was fouled on the 3-point field goal. Bounce pass, Sparrow. And it's blocked.
Great recovery by Mo Ali Cox. The redshirt freshman with the timely block.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Great action here in Richmond.
Try to remedy that by getting to the bucket, perhaps picking up a foul. The way VCU likes to play with an up-tempo style, you can perhaps catch them out of position. So look for Richmond to get the ball in the painted area.
Richmond just 7 for 26 from the field in the second half.
Got to get a stop here, though. He's got the hot hand. You've got to play on him, I should say. Don't let him.
He hangs, and good defense forced the tough shot. But Brandenberg goes and gets it, hold everything. Shot clock violation, no basket.
And Chris Mooney, kind enough to point that out to the official.
It's a little bit of a referee inside of Mooney.
He's getting on his scorer's table here in Richmond because they should have been on it, he feels, before the official, or he had to say something. So he's imploring his scorer's table to get on it.
Multitasking.
The job is never done of a coach, right? Got to take care of everything.
That was a big no basket there, and they got the call correct. Otherwise, it's a 7-point game instead 5.
It's the stop we were just referring to that Richmond needed. Now, can they capitalize on that and set up a good offensive exchange here? Because you need two things for a run. You need stops and you need buckets. Anthony can't finish. He's been a little out of rhythm as of late. I like the decision to take it to the basket, but that shot was way off again.
He's been cold in the second half. He's just 5 for 15 from the field now. VCU very content with letting the clock run right now as we get down to 2:40 left in the game. Pass not on target. Another stop for the Spiders. Someone's got to hit a shot. Snyder's just gone cold in the second half.
Jones that time had a good open look and unable to convert it though.
We are coming to you from the Robbins Center in Richmond, Virginia. Capital City Classic. VCU in black, Richmond in white. Ari Wolf alongside Al Abdelnabi. Rashawn Ali with us as well. A-10 standings. This is a huge game for VCU because they want to move into a tie with St. Joe's for the number 2 spot in the conference.
Still, as Coach Smart said before the game, a lot to be playing for as we enter the final stage of the regular season and then into the conference tournament and the postseason.
VCU, it seems, every time down now just wants to milk the clock. They're not getting quality shots. Anthony, no.
Well, when you've got a lead up by 5, a moving clock is your best friend. Now it's 2.
How about Anthony? He doesn't lose confidence. He might miss 5 in a row. That's the big one.
That's got a shooter's mentality. You got to believe the next one's going in. Some pressure, and you mentioned it earlier. VCU content to let the clock run. Richmond right now trying to do something about that.
Breonte Weber with the basketball. And he's being hounded, and a foul on Davis. That's team foul number 6, so no free throws yet for VCU.
Well, they know that they weren't in the bonus just yet, so they had one to waste. And what a good opportunity to waste it right now, because what they've done is they've also allowed VCU, or forced VCU, to speed up things a little bit. When the last couple exchanges before we came back into play, they were methodical, content, as you mentioned, to let the clock run. Let's see whether or not they keep that approach.
It appears they want to get into their set much more quickly this time. And now Weber's going to back it out.
Eyes the clock, realizes, hey, I've got some more time, and Richmond is content to play off, so why not beat up a little bit of valuable clock time?
Who wants the shot here late?
Kind of surprised by it. I would look for Brandenberg, somebody with the hot hand.
Graham misses. The Spiders can't hold on to it.
Huge rebound that time in a 2-point game. You can believe that it's going to be VC's intention to use up most of that 35. Will Richmond let them? They're playing off of him again. Content to rebound after a miss, hopefully, if you're Richmond, you hope VCU misses, and then they're going to have enough time to run their offense on the other end. That's what they're banking on. Let's see whether or not that plan works out.
Graham, lots of contact. No call, Spider basketball.
Loses it on his own. Good no call. There was a little contact.
There's going to be a conversation between the officials right now.
Referee's discussing something, but it seems like they've decided that it's definitely going to be Richmond ball. Take a look at it again. Graham just loses it. Plenty of contact to call a foul, but I thought Graham initiated court. Let's see whether or not VCU allows him to roam freely. But I would look for a penetration. You don't need a 3 here. Get something going to the bucket.
Here we go. Capital City Classic 2-point game. Anthony the drive. Can't finish the tip. No. VCU's got it. They've got a foul, and they do with 6 seconds remaining.
And Alonzo Nelson Adodo is beside himself right now. Point-blank range. He had the opportunity to tie the game with the tip. There he is underneath, and he misses the opportunity. VCU able to secure the loose ball, and we are going down the other end. There it is again. You can't draw up a better play. Point-blank range, 2 feet away. The big fella just can't get it to go down. They're in a 1-1.
1-1. Graham 69% on the season.
And the junior has been in this situation before, but right on cue, the crowd gets into it.
Huge free throw. But this is the really big one now that he's earned the back end of the 1-1. He can make it a 2-possession game. Richmond, no timeouts. They miss, they got to go fast, and I'm sure they want to get it in Anthony's hands.
Big free throw.
Wow, that's clutch. That's big time.
And theoretically now this could seal the deal if nobody wants to do that. Or they get it at half court. No fouls if you're VCU. The
VCU able to knock it out of his hands, so now just 2.6 remain.
Well, we said it, partner. We knew VCU was going to make a run, and what a run they made after only having 22 points in the first half. They've scored 32 tonight. And that's what friends do. We tease each other.
Absolutely. You got to have thick skin, right?
They know everybody in New York. I got nothing but love for them.
2.1 seconds to go. And a VCU team that was down double digits in the second half, down 11. In a hostile environment, yes, they had some fans here. They weren't completely alone. But in this environment, to bounce back, now one of the seniors at the free throw line, Rob Brandenberg.
And I think one of the reasons why VCU's found themselves back in this game and with the lead is they're struggling shooting overall from the field at 38% from beyond the arc, shooting 40%, 8 for 20 to Richmond's only 5 makes from beyond the arc.
And Brandenberg just hit his magic number, 11 points. They'll go to 44-3 when he scores